You know, the bike just kind of blows a lot of steam at first when it's running, and then it kind of like cools down a bit, and the exhaust is just not making that much more fumes. The one thing I need to work is this seat. It's on, I like to put it on high, but when it's on high it won't clip down. Snow right here, ice. Well, I don't think my gloves are working. I don't understand this. Like, I've had this issue before with these gloves. As soon as I got them from Gerbing, maybe that's just the thing. I just need to get electric gloves that are not part of like the whole Gerbing brand, because they just seem to not work very well. But the jacket I am wearing, the electric jacket's called Tourmaster, and it's really good. Came with a controller. I got it for free, but when I bought my Yamaha T-Max, the guy just included like tons of stuff. I'm seeing ice on the road. This is not a good sign, and I'm going north where it's usually colder, so I have to be very careful. These winters are brutal, and I don't particularly enjoy winter riding, but there are some benefits. You're most likely all alone on roads, except today. Today's a Saturday, so a lot of weekend drivers are out. But when you're riding in the winter, the roads are very cold. Cold roads could be potentially what you could crash in. And look at this guy, left turning vehicle. And of course, with cold roads, you also have lower braking distances, because cold roads means that your tires are not going to grab as much. And it's always nice to have warm roads for doing like very serious cornering and spirited riding. But when a road is cold and your tires are cold, and it's kind of like this condition, kind of like possibly slick spots, you have to be very careful. So if you want to quote unquote extend your riding season, as those biker life guys say, you got to get a electric jacket, or learn to layer your clothes. And layering is very important. Even with an electric jacket, if you layer it on top of the electric jacket, you're going to be even smoother, man. Look at that. So I got my electric jacket, and I have a electric gloves that don't seem to be working very well, and I need to upgrade those. But you can get like heated grips, and heated grips are a great idea, even like in springtime, especially if you like go out in the morning, and you can just turn them on if you forgot to bring your electric gloves. And a lot of times too, when you are, you know, if you work and you're commuting, you have a very long day, and then you're forced to ride at night home and it's cold, you didn't bring your electric gloves, you could just like flip that switch. And they usually come with modes, you know, like high, medium, or some sort of way of modulating the temperature. Gear definitely helps, and I think I learned that pretty early on while I was riding. The heated gear kind of just feels freezing, and remember, these roads are freezing. Look at this. I mean, any possible rain that hit the road overnight is going to be ice, so you have to be really careful. All right, see, ice over here. Parking lots are going to have a little bit more ice, and I think this is where most people are going to be dropping their bikes, and hopefully it's not going to be me. I'm actually going to like just pull over here to this little chunk here. I know this is the oh yeah, look at that, I almost lost my footing here. Bad idea. This is pretty dangerous, and I didn't even notice it, but this is ice. I put my foot down here and it just slid. That is ice, and these shoes are not very good for that, so I am going to go back where I came from. But you can see it's just ice everywhere here, and it's downhill, so not a good idea here. They did clean this though, so I'm being very careful. As you can see, not a good idea. It's really kind of beautiful, like riding around in the winter. But I kind of feel, you know, this bike is heavy, so in a way it doesn't feel like it slips as much as the SH. The SH, I mean, that was quite a handful. For your head, all you really need is a very thin ski mask, otherwise known as, I think, baklava. It's really just a very thin mask. You don't need something too thick because that'll be difficult to get it in your helmet. But I think that's a very good way of blocking the wind. And they have these balaclavas with the neck, so it's like a neck gaiter. When you have a neck gaiter, it stops the wind from like rising up your helmet, and you'll feel a lot warmer because you don't want any skin exposed in the winter. Hippo hands, and I have you know, 2 pairs of hippo hands, but the problem, it doesn't fit this with the hand guards. The hand guards are almost like hippo hands. They deflect the wind from you, but the hippo hands are made out of textile, and they'll fit in most bikes, but they won't fit on my SH150 or this, so I can't use them. But on most bikes with handlebars, they're very easy to wrap around, and you just put your hands in there, even if you use thinner gloves. Pants, you need insulation. You cannot use jeans. Jeans are terrible. Even the textile stuff, the Cordura, is better, but they do make winter pants that you can use. And I usually like to get pants that are oversized, because then I can layer underneath and use like long johns. Winter boots, and winter boots basically have no perforation in them. They're a little bit nicer, they're much warmer, keeping your feet nice and warm. And there are some techniques that I've used. You know, I put like plastic bags over my socks if it's raining out or if it's snowy out, and if you do that, then it insulates your socks from getting wet, but you'll still get cold. So you need to get something that's weatherproof, waterproof, and boots tend to be kind of expensive when you get like waterproof stuff, but you don't want any skin to be exposed. Don't wear like short socks, and there are like wool, synthetic wool sorts of socks that you can use that are much better. You don't want like the thin stuff, you want to get really nice thick ones. If you get wool or smart wool, that's the way you want to go about it. And when you come up on these intersections, be very careful. Remember, you don't have as much braking distance as in the summertime when your tires are really warm and the pavement is warm. You want to be careful. Every time you ride over an overpass or underpass, it's going to be colder, and ice will start to form around there. Even in highways, it's going to be colder. So if you have to do an emergency maneuver on that overpass or underpass, remember, you could have a little bit more of a distance issue and ice issue. I've heard of riders actually crashing on there. You know, even though there's like ice on the road and snow on the road, you can ride in such a way that it doesn't require you to be constantly in danger. There's some snow. That's from a car, by the way. A lot of the fresh white snow on the road is from cars that didn't clean them. That's something that's going to happen, you know. Beware the white painted lines and the yellow lines, and steel on the road. I mean, steel is even slicker. And these overpasses, underpasses, you got to pay attention to the surfaces a lot more in the winter. And if you ride in this sort of like conditions, you learn a little bit more about riding itself. And I think that's the danger of riding just in one season, as the hipsters call it, the season of riding. You never really learn to ride. You know, that's the problem too. It's like when guys, they ride in the summer, you know, usually they put away their bikes in the winter, and then they start back up when the weather breaks, and then they're very rusty and get in accidents. What if you didn't put away your bike and you just rode it on the weekends a little bit? You know, just go out to the countryside like this and ride it. Would that be so bad? You know, you don't have to ride when there's like potential ice on the road like me, but it wouldn't hurt you. And I think it would build a little bit more character in you, and it would definitely improve your skills. You know, don't ride your bike to work in the snow during a snowstorm. You know, take an Uber back if that's the case. But it does build skills. You cannot deny that. You know, and that's the thing too. I get called a lot of stupid names when I do that, and I understand, because the easy thing is to drive a car. The easy thing is simply not to go work. But you know, if everything was just so easy, then what's the point of doing it, right? You know, there is a challenge to that. There's a challenge to riding. And some guys, they see, oh, I want to do 1,000 miles a day. Some guys are like, I got to do 120 miles in this corner. There is a challenge to riding, and there is a challenge to riding every single day. There's a challenge to being able to like keep up in the winter, you know, not be, you basically build your riding ability by riding every single day. So those are some wintertime riding tips. And remember, I do encourage people to ride in the winter and throughout the year. I think one of the disservices bikers do, I hate using the term bikers, one of the disservices that they do is that they don't ride throughout the year. So cars kind of forget that motorcycling is also a mode of transportation and just not the hobby. And when you're around in the winter and cars see you commute and ride, they take you a little bit more seriously. They think of you as, oh, that's somebody that actually uses their bike other than just going to Starbucks. And I think it's important because around this particular area, you don't see motorcyclists in the winter. They put away their bikes. But if you go to downtown area, you see scooters and bicyclists, and so people become more accustomed to them. But the problem is here, everybody's like a hobbyist. Nobody really rides every single day. And you should try and make it an effort. If you don't need a car for work, to carry things, then a motorcycle or scooter would do you just fine. But don't be one of these people that get scared of, you know, riding in the winter. Riding in the winter is fine. You have to be careful, but you have to learn how to ride in various conditions. That's going to improve your skill for other riding. In the summertime, when the weather breaks, you're going to see there's going to be a significant improvement in your skills, while all the other guys that put away their bikes are going to be rusty. They're not going to be able to ride well. They're going to be very choppy, and you're going to be smooth. You're going to be smooth like butter. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.